Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving deep into the power of dopamine and how you can rewire your brain for success. We're talking about hacking your biology to achieve your goals, man. It's some next level stuff. Look, we all know dopamine is the feel-good chemical, right? But it's way more than that. It's the driving force behind your motivation, your ambition, your drive to succeed. The problem is our modern world is a dopamine minefield, constantly bombarding us with instant gratification. We're going to expose the things that are messing with your dopamine levels, and more importantly, I'm going to give you actionable strategies to take back control, break free from distractions, and unleash your full potential. Stay tuned. So what is dopamine exactly? It's this neurotransmitter, right? But it's not just any neurotransmitter. It's often called the motivation molecule because it plays a crucial role in how we feel pleasure and motivation. It's like a chemical messenger in your brain. It helps transmit signals between nerve cells, and it's involved in many of our daily behaviors, and it gets released every time you do something pleasurable. Whether it's eating, laughing, or even achieving a goal, dopamine is there to reward you. Think about it. You eat a delicious meal, boom, dopamine hit. It's your brain's way of saying, hey, that was good, let's do it again. You have sex, dopamine surge. This powerful chemical reinforces behaviors that are essential for survival and reproduction. You get a bunch of likes on Instagram, dopamine spike. Social interactions, even virtual ones, can trigger this response. It's your brain's way of saying, yeah, do that again. It's a reward system that encourages us to repeat behaviors that make us feel good. Now here's the thing. Your brain doesn't really differentiate between what's good for you and what's not. It just knows what feels good. It just craves that dopamine rush, whether it's from healthy activities or not. The brain seeks that rewarding feeling. And that's where things get tricky, because not all dopamine-inducing activities are beneficial in the long run. Because nowadays we're surrounded by things that trigger these massive dopamine releases, but they don't require much effort. It's easy to get hooked on these quick fixes. You can scroll through social media for hours, binge watch Netflix, crush bags of Doritos. All that stuff gives you those quick hits, but they don't provide lasting satisfaction. But here's the problem. When you're constantly flooding your brain with dopamine from these easy sources, it's like becoming numb to it. Your brain starts to need more and more to feel the same pleasure. You build up a tolerance. And over time, the things that used to make you happy don't have the same effect. And then the things that actually matter, working towards a long-term goal, learning a new skill, building a business, they start to feel boring. They require effort and patience, which don't give you that immediate dopamine hit. You're not getting that same dopamine rush. So your brain is like, nah, man, let's just scroll through TikTok some more. It's a cycle that's hard to break, but understanding it is the first step. Let's break down how this dopamine loop actually works, man. It's insidious. It sneaks up on you when you least expect it. You're sitting there bored, maybe a little bit anxious. You feel this itch, this need to do something, anything to distract yourself. You pick up your phone, right? Just to check, just for a second. You tell yourself it's harmless, just a quick peek. You open up Instagram and boom, you see a bunch of notifications, likes, comments, dopamine spike. Your brain lights up like a Christmas tree. Your brain's like, oh yeah, this feels good. It's like a mini celebration in your head, but then it fades quickly. That high doesn't last, and you're left wanting more. So you scroll and you scroll and you scroll. It's like you're chasing that first high. Each time you get a little hit of dopamine, but it's never enough to fully satisfy. It's like trying to fill a bottomless pit. You're caught in this loop, man. It's a vicious cycle. This cycle of craving and reward that keeps you hooked. It's like you're a puppet and dopamine is pulling the strings. And it's not just social media, it's video games, junk food, all those little indulgences, pornography, anything that gives you that quick, easy dopamine fix. It's all part of the same trap. And the more you repeat this loop, the stronger it gets. It's like reinforcing a bad habit. You're literally rewiring your brain to crave these instant gratifications instead of focusing on long-term rewards. It's a tough cycle to break, but recognizing it is the first step. Think about the most successful people you know. Picture them in your mind for a moment. Billionaires, elite athletes, top performers in any field. These individuals have reached the pinnacle of their respective domains. You think those guys are scrolling through Instagram all day, wasting their precious time on endless feeds? You think they're hooked on video games and junk food? Hell no. They know better than to fall into those traps. These are people who have mastered their dopamine. They've learned to control their impulses and focus on what truly matters. They understand the power of delayed gratification. They know that the best things in life are worth waiting for. They're willing to put in the work, to grind, to delay that reward because they know the payoff will be huge. They see the bigger picture. They're not chasing those little dopamine hits. They're not distracted by every notification or message. They're playing the long game. They're investing in their future, planting seeds that will grow over time. They're building businesses, investing in themselves, creating legacies. They're thinking about the impact they'll leave behind. They're focused on the things that truly matter. They prioritize their mental health, their environment, and their relationships. And that's the key, man. It's all about mindset and priorities. You want to be successful? You need to adopt these habits and mindsets. You got to break free from this instant gratification trap. It's holding you back more than you realize. You got to rewire your brain to crave the long-term rewards. Visualize your goals, write them down, and stay committed. And the good news is, you can totally do it. Your brain is adaptable. It's like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. You can train it to work for you instead of against you. Start today and watch your life transform. Chapter 4, cut out instant gratification. All right, so how do we actually do this? How do we break free from this dopamine loop and rewire our brains for success? It's not easy, but it's definitely doable. First things first, we got to cut out the crap. We got to detox from all those things that are hijacking our dopamine. I'm talking social media, video games, junk food, Netflix binges, all that stuff. It's like digital poison, man. It's messing with your brain chemistry. Now, I'm not saying you got to give it up forever, but you got to take a break. A hard break. I'm talking at least 24 hours, preferably longer. I know it sounds brutal. But trust me, it's like hitting the reset button on your brain. It gives your dopamine receptors a chance to chill out and recalibrate. Chapter 5, delay rewards to strengthen willpower. Okay, so you've done your dopamine detox, you've cut out the junk. Now what? Well, now we got to start building up those willpower muscles. We got to train your brain to delay gratification. And the best way to do that is with a simple rule. Delay your rewards. Want to watch YouTube? Cool. First, finish that task you've been putting off. Craving some ice cream? No problem. Eat a healthy meal first, then decide if you still want it. See, what you're doing here is you're creating a little bit of friction between the craving and the reward. You're forcing your brain to work a little bit harder, to wait a little bit longer. And each time you do that, you're strengthening your willpower. You're teaching your brain that it doesn't need instant gratification to feel good. All right, let's talk about your environment, man. Because if you're trying to rewire your brain for success, your environment is either going to help you or hurt you. Think about it. If your phone's blowing up with notifications while you're trying to work, you're screwed. You're constantly getting pulled back into that dopamine loop. So you got to create an environment that sets you up for success. First thing, get rid of distractions. Put your phone in another room, use website blockers, whatever you got to do. Make it easy to do the things that are good for you and hard to do the things that aren't. Set up your workspace so it's inviting and conducive to productivity. Now, here's the really cool part. You can actually hack your dopamine system to work for you instead of against you. You can create what I call a success dopamine loop. Remember how we talked about how your brain releases dopamine when you do something pleasurable? Well, guess what? Achieving your goals, making progress, learning new things, that can be pleasurable too. So start associating those activities with dopamine. Give yourself mini rewards for completing tasks. Finished a workout? Awesome. Listen to your favorite podcast. Crushed it at work today? Treat yourself to a nice dinner. Over time, your brain will start to connect these positive activities with dopamine. And guess what? You'll start craving them. You'll be motivated to work towards your goals because it will feel good. Look, dopamine is a powerful chemical. It can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. It's all about how you use it effectively. If you let it control you, it will keep you stuck in a cycle of instant gratification, always chasing that next hit. But if you learn to master it, to harness its power, it can be the key to unlocking your full potential. Remember, you are in control of your actions. You have the power to rewire your brain, to break free from distractions, and to achieve anything you set your mind to. So get out there, take control of your dopamine, and absolutely crush it. So there you have it, the secrets of dopamine and how to use it to unlock massive success. It's all about understanding how this powerful chemical works and then using it to your advantage. Remember, you are not a slave to your biology. You can rewire your brain, break free from distractions, and achieve anything you set your mind to. What's one bad habit you want to break? Comment below. And hey, if you're serious about boosting your focus and motivation, we've got some awesome tools in the bio that can help. We're talking about apps, strategies, and resources that will help you stay productive and reach your goals. Go check it out, and let's start mastering our dopamine together.